All right, a different mode of transportation. We are going to talk fighting ships, and we are going to talk about amazing symbols of security, safety, and freedom. So we are live on the Intrepid. Just real quickly, I want to show you. Right next to us is the Bataan. So this is an active military. This is a amphibious assault ship. I don't know if you can see on that perspective. Right behind that, as we speak, a Norwegian cruise line is pulling in. So that gives you some perspective of how much bigger that cruise liner is, but look at the hardware on the flight deck of that amphibious assault ship. Obviously, we've got air assets, you've got a lot of helicopters that they can use, and they can get some, like, those are called VSTOLs on the end, vertical short takeoff and landing. That can give you a different kind of plane to get in and out, and that's what it's all about. And then you come over here, and this is an aircraft carrier, and this is not the biggest aircraft carrier. It's just our beloved Intrepid. And before I say goodbye to you, Cindy, of course, the Sikorsky. We cannot forget our friends in the Coast Guard, and we know, Cindy, your connection to the Coast Guard. We are here this morning to talk about family connections. In our next half hour, a very important delineation. What's the difference between a Blue Star family and a Gold Star family? We're going to talk about that and talk about what's going on here at the Intrepid today and for the remainder of Fleet Week, which it's so great to have them back. Cindy, memories, I know, for you.
Big time,
right now,
John.
I'll send it back to you. Right across the street.
My dad was a Coast Guard pilot and flew those helicopters and everything the Coast Guard has. So we love the Coast Guard. Thank you, John. Hi, John.
And you know, Cindy, and you do know this, Cindy, the Intrepid is such a gem, such a jewel, such an education, and such a tribute. Every branch of service represented. So this is a Marine Corps Sea Cobra. I mean, look at the serious armament. This is a very sleek, very fast helicopter. This, though, was based on the Huey. Now, this is an Army vehicle, Army armament. And technically it's an Iroquois, but it's called the Huey, and this went into service back in 1959, and the Marines kind of co-opted some of that and incorporated some of the technology in the Huey into their helicopters. Now, I'm obviously an Army kid. My dad was in the Army, WW2. I had an older dad. He was in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, so that's why, obviously, you're drawn to that branch of service. Coming up after weather, we're going to tell you about how important that family connection is. Memorial Day is a very important holiday. It's more than the barbecues. It's more than the sales. Just some perspective for you. 1.4 million active duty service members serve. The bottom line tells the other very important part of the story. 1.7 million family members. About 1 million of those are kids. When we talk about stars of service, a Blue Star family, someone with an immediate family member that's in the service during conflict, and we are in conflict. Gold Star family, this is a immediate family member of a fallen service member who was killed or died while serving, and the protocol is gold with just a hint of blue, basically the gold on top of the blue. Coming up later this morning, we're going to talk to some Gold Star family members, families that paid the ultimate price, and again, that circles right back to what Memorial Day is about. It is so great to have the men and women that are actively in service now, enjoying the city during Fleet Week, but let's not lose sight of Memorial Day either. We'll meet some new friends coming up in a bit. Right now, though, right back to Cindy.
That's so important, John. John, what was Army life for your dad? What was it? What did he talk about?
Oh, he loved it. He loved it. So when I graduated college, he went OCS. I said, I'm going to go enlist. And so I went to enlist. Honest story. And it was back during the Clinton administration. They said, we have too many lieutenants. And they didn't want me to enlist. My dad loved being in the Corps of Engineers.
Oh, that's terrific, John. Thank you.
So again, I want to bring in Colleen Shine. First off, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I know it's early on a Sunday morning, and we were talking last time about Blue Star families and Gold Star families. You are proudly, but tragically, a Gold Star family. Talk about not only your dad, but his siblings.
My father grew up here in New York. He was one of 4 siblings, came from a military family. My grandfather served as an aide to General Bradley in World War II and in Korea. All 4 kids served in Vietnam. My dad was the oldest, an Air Force fighter pilot missing in action on December 2, 1972. Then his younger brother, Jonathan, was killed in action in 1970. West Point grad. Another uncle, Al Shine, was also Army in West Point. Wounded, returned home, retired an Army colonel. And their sister, Sarah, was a Red Cross nurse in Vietnam, came home to be a career Army nurse.
Which just speaks volumes about the legacy of your family. But your dad, you hear these dates and you've got them memorized. When were you finally able to get his remains and bury him?
I was 8 years old when my father was...
You were how old?
I was 8 years old when my dad was first missing in action in the Vietnam War. We were able to recover some of his remains and have a truth to face and move forward from. That didn't come for 24 years in 1996.
That's the thing that amazes me. It was decades later, and he's buried in Arlington, right?
He is.
So that's what a Gold Star family is. What can people do to help Gold Star families?
One, I think support the active duty right now. If you support them with all your heart. We're standing here on the flight deck of the USS Intrepid. We're going to have a bunch of Navy guys coming in today. We are so proud of the service that they provide. For Gold Star families, I would say acknowledge tomorrow is Memorial Day.
Right.
It's a day to honor and remember that selfless service and sacrifice. And for those still unaccounted for, please hold the faith. It makes a difference to have an answer.
Cindy, she's amazing. I mean, she smiles, she comes to life when she talks about service to other. Real quickly, what is the name of well, obviously, the Top Gun Award is named for your father, right?
It is. For the last 40 years, the Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Shine Award has been presented to Air Force fighter pilots across the globe. And we're tremendously proud of that. These young men put service before self, and we're looking forward to a woman being among them one day soon.
Yeah, and this is your dad's jacket. God bless you.
Thank
you so much for your family's sacrifice and service, and for you keeping the mission going. Pretty moving stuff, Cindy, and I know, Coast Guard, you know what it's all about. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Very moving, John, and what an incredible family. Thank you. John Elliott's live on the Intrepid with your first alert forecast. Good morning, John.
So, Cindy, I'm kind of smiling because you talk about hitting the beach and it's two dudes in suits. So you need to get your bathing suit later, but this is our dear friend Richard Jones. He is the Chief Veterans Officer for a little company called Paramount, our parent company. First off, we're hosting an event. Paramount is hosting an event for Gold Star families and wounded warriors. And I'm going to brag on you for a minute. When was your accident as a U.S. Army Ranger?
So in 1987, John, during an airfield seizure, my parachute malfunctioned. I hit the runway, broke my back, my legs, my neck, and I'm very fortunate that I've healed up. And
wait. He just completed an additional 4 surgeries. So this was decades you've been a wounded warrior.
Yes.
Why is it so important for Paramount to support wounded warriors and initiatives like this?
Well, John, it's when you think, especially this weekend, we are remembering those who have given the last full measure of devotion and service to our country. And it's important for our company to do all that it can. We are a great company. We've got wonderful people. And so we give back, right? Without our freedoms. And I think when you look at the world today and you look at how precious freedom is, and I think people always remember that freedom is not free.
Yeah.
And so whether we're so fortunate today to have the Gold Star families.
Yes.
So we honor the sacrifice that they've made and that their family members have given that last full measure of devotion.
And we help the wounded warriors.
And we help the wounded warriors. And that's
so, and you mentioned the world, you think of Ukraine, you think of all the issues all around the world. So it's the land of the free because of the brave.
100%.
So thank you. And he cleans up well. By the way, he's also a tax attorney. He's way up in the company. 20. He's way up there. God bless you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you're feeling okay.
I feel great. And
Are you just saying that?
No, John. I'm very fortunate, and I just have to say to you, thank you for your support. Honestly.
All right. Cindy, we have a very special guest. I don't know if you recognize our dear colleague, Alice Gaynor. So happy Sunday to you.
And you as well. This weather's spectacular. Thank you so much for that.
Who's this handsome man next to me?
This is my father, Harold Gaynor. He is a Vietnam veteran.
So Harold, I'm going to ask you. First off, you just told me you volunteered for the draft.
I did. I pushed up my number so I could go in and serve my country.
Now, first off, let's go back even farther. Grandfather, father, you're a military family, right?
Yes. My dad, his dad, and my wife's dad, they were all in the service. So it comes from a long line of military. And my one son is also a Marine officer.
Wow.
So
What did you do in the service?
I was a radio operator. I was in the Army. I was an 05B-20, which is a radio operator. And I was in the South Vietnam, about 30 miles south of Saigon, and I was with a South Vietnamese unit, an RV unit. And I would go out on patrols with the radio to keep communications with the base. And I would also have a radio station back at the base camp to keep touch with the pilots. When they were flying, I had to give them coordinates to make sure that they were hitting the right targets and bring them back in the right areas.
Do you think Hollywood gets it right when they show, because guys like you were so vital to saving lives and getting all the assets in the right place at the right time? I mean, you were really on the front line.
Yes, I think they're pretty accurate in some of the pictures that we've seen. Yeah.
What did you like being in?
I did. I enjoyed it. I was very fortunate where I was located, right on the water, and some of the people, and I enjoyed working with the Vietnamese people. They're really great, and in my spare time, I'd always try and help them out in the villages.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Now, you're at an event, and Vince, go ahead, show. This is a party getting together. How about the respect, the renewed respect you're seeing veterans get now? How's that make you feel?
It feels good. I mean, when we came back, we got very little respect, and now it's so great to see some of these guys who come back wounded. A lot of them didn't come back, but it's great to see us getting some of the recognition that a lot of these guys deserve.
Yeah, it really is. And Alice, what do you think of Dad?
I know they didn't get a lot of the thank yous they deserved. Just really proud of him, really proud of my brother Doug. He's a major in the Marines. Like he mentioned, my grandfathers both served, both in the Navy and also what was known as the Army Air Force at the time in World War II. So come from a long line, so a lot of respect there. And it's great to meet other veterans here and hear their stories, because it's so important that we tell their stories so people know what happened. The last time I was here on the Intrepid was back in December, talking about Pearl Harbor, and a lot of those survivors, they're older and they're passing away. So it's so important that we learn these stories and we share them so that we never forget.
First off, tough as nails reporter. And this gets you, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Just proud. We don't talk about it too much, so hearing him speak about it is it's moving.
Yeah. Do you think the fact that you were in radio led her into TV?
I don't think so.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
All of it. And by the way, other fun fact, he is a real cool dad. He's got, I can't even tell you, the thing he did for the wedding was great, and he's a craftsman as well. Thank you. And Alice, thank you. And again, Cindy, you know this feeling. You know we all share it. That's why for folks that aren't related to someone who is a veteran, I hope they can feel the emotion that's real decades later. Back to you.
No, definitely. And with Fleet Week and so many sailors and servicemen and women out and about, please do say thank you for your service. And Alice, I just have to give you a big hug. I just love you to death. And I know we do always see her very
Cindy's giving you a
side.
big hug right now.
Yeah, I am.
She's giving you a hug.
I am. All right. Thank you very much.
And we thank her family for their service too.
Thanks, Alice. Bye, John. First, let's check that weather. John Elliott's live on the Intrepid with your first alert forecast. Hi, John.
So all we do, Cindy, is make friends. So I went over to this young man. I said, hey, you want to be on TV? Sergeant Thompson, U.S. Marine Corps, right?
Yes, sir.
Active duty.
Yes, sir.
You are a recruiter.
I am.
Why should someone consider the Marines?
So I think the best way to explain that, like my reason for joining the Marines, I was doing some college. At that time, college wasn't really for me, so I thought I'd look into different ways to like better myself. And walked into the recruiting office. Honestly, I tried out for the Air Force first, and I just wasn't feeling it, you know. So the Marine Corps office was like
You
right.
felt the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I felt the Marine Corps. I walked in, I felt like I was welcome.
Wow.
The Marines just kind of like impressed me, you know. So like my first day, I didn't enlist. I went back home, did some research, and I'm like, I can be a part of this, you know.
How many years have you served?
So I'm coming up on 7 years in September.
And what's the plan? How many more years?
13, hopefully.
You're going to do 20 years with the United States Marine Corps.
That's a plan right now.
God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. We literally just met. So thank you. Go back to your buddy. So as we come back live, Cindy, I turned around and look what I found. Wow, say good morning to Cindy.
Good morning, Cindy.
Okay, they take orders. I want to bring in Nancy. Nancy, U.S. Marine Corps.
Absolutely, sir.
Where did you serve and how long?
Iraq, 2004 to 2005.
God bless you. Thank you for your service. What did you love about being a Marine?
I love the camaraderie it gave me, and I love knowing that no matter where I was, I can count on my brothers and sisters to always watch my back.
I just talked to a Marine recruiter who's right back there. Why should people consider a career, whether it be long or short, in the United States Marine Corps?
It's so honorable to serve for this country. This country is so beautiful, and our freedoms that are given to us, especially this upcoming Memorial Day, and that's why we celebrate Memorial Day. We celebrate those gentlemen who gave their tomorrow so we can have our today, and there's no better country to serve for than the United States.
It's almost like you're reading my mind. Because this is perfect for Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, you and I were just talking. We met 3 minutes ago.
Right, good
Just chatting.
Yes.
Before we say anything, I want you to turn your back to Vince.
Yes.
And Vince, show the sign.
to.
What are we
Yes.
reading back here?
We're reading the Memorial Day Foundation. And the reason why I started the Memorial Day Foundation is about 15 years ago on the news at night. A newscaster asked 10 people, what does Memorial Day mean to you? And 9 people got it wrong. 9 people thought it was the beginning of summer, a day at the beach, a day for a sale at a department store. One guy got it right. It's to honor and remember America's war dead. And so I decided we needed to do something about it to increase awareness and respect for Memorial Day through public displays of remembrance.
Well, then let me just real quickly, the time we have left. I feel the same way with you. I don't like Happy Memorial Day.
You're right about that.
How should we greet each other?
Well, I think it's a question of saying something simple, like have a blessed Memorial Day, have a memorable Memorial Day, have a solemn Memorial Day. We've got to get off of happy. It's not a happy occasion. People have died for this country so we have our freedom and our liberty. And we have to give them at least one moment of respect on a day like Memorial Day, which is what it's for. Most people think Memorial Day is just for veterans because we served or we were in combat. Yeah. But Memorial Day is for all Americans. It's for everyone to stop and reflect upon the cost of freedom in this country.
And it is such a delicate balance because here we're gathering, we're meeting, some strangers meeting for the first time, laughter, smiles, so there is that balance. But tomorrow you want all of us. What simple thing do you want us to do?
Well, I want you to have a good time on Memorial Day at your picnics and your barbecues, but I want you to remember the reason why you have those picnics and barbecues. Somebody defended your freedom, and you should take a moment to stop and think about that. As a matter of fact, if you'll let me, Steve Hartman of CBS has a wonderful idea for TAPS at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the National Moment of Remembrance. If you hear TAPS anywhere you are, please stand, put your heart over your right hand, and face the music, and you'll be remembering America's war dead in the best way possible.
Thank you for your service, U.S. Army. You know, I'm an Army kid.
That's what I like
God
to
bless
hear.
you all. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll meet maybe this kid next. But right now, Cindy will send things back to you in the studio.
John, he was so well spoken about that, and I really, when you asked him how we should greet each other on Memorial, I really liked when he said, have a blessed Memorial Day.
Yep, I love it.
All right, John, thank you.
Paul, real quickly, we zoomed in. What is this pin?
This pin is the 50th anniversary Department of Defense pin for the Vietnam War, and I was pinned by Admiral Rock. It's an official Department of Defense item, so therefore it could be pinned by an admiral or a general or a colonel.
And
it was really nice.
He's here this morning.
He's here this morning, and it was nice of him to pin me with the pin because it's a very special thing to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War at this stage in my life.
God bless you. And I know this guy's got to go because he's got another event. Thank you. And you have a blessed Memorial Day too. Cindy, we're going to have a story of it's just a hard story of a father who paid the ultimate price coming up in just a bit. Right now, that we'll send it right back to you in the studio. Cindy, honestly, this is a little awkward, so this is not going to work. Excuse me a second. Let me get a chair here. Good grief!
This is perfect.
Good grief! First off, the tallest guy I've met. You guys are not going to believe this. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Admiral Chip Rock. Have you been told you have the coolest name in the Navy?
Yeah. Sixth sense of humor, I guess my parents had.
Chip Rock is great, and if it's last name first, it's Rock Chip. So, sir, I first off, obviously thank you for your service. And real quickly, you were kind enough to pin our buddy Paul with a 50-year commemoration from Vietnam. How does that make you feel?
Extremely humbled. Those that serve in the military today are blessed by having the support of our nation. Paul didn't have that.
Right.
So it was really heartwarming for me to be able to recognize his service because we stand on his shoulders, the legacy that him and all our Vietnam veterans made.
And you know that meant so much to him, but circling back, how great is it to have Fleet Week back?
Oh my goodness. Your Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard are back. And we couldn't be more pleased to be here and more grateful for the support of the city.
And not for nothing, is the USS Intrepid a gem or what?
Indeed.
Yeah. It's worth it whether you're in the service or not. If you love history, if you love this country, sir, thank you for your service. Again, Cindy, you would love this because everybody's an instant friend, but everybody touches you in such a unique way. Maureen, can you tell us about your father?
Sure. My father was U.S. Air Force Captain Vincent J. Hickman. He was first Air Commando in the Air Force based in Bien Hoa in South Vietnam. And he was shot down on January the 14th of 1964, and he's still unaccounted for to this day.
How old were you when he was shot down?
I was 4 years old. I was second of 4 children. My mother had 4 daughters under the age of 5, and she was 29 when she was widowed.
I just met your sister and a niece, and we were sending pictures, so we were able to get some of those pictures. How did your mom? How did she do it?
She's just very strong. She's my hero as well. She didn't really have a lot of support, and counseling was not available. It was the 60s. It was a difficult time, and but she just stayed the course. She's never remarried. She's going to be 88 this year, and she's a strong woman.
What do you want people to remember about the service and sacrifice that families like you have gone through as we enjoy this wonderful weather? Great, but what does Memorial Day mean to you and people like you that have suffered so much loss?
That it's all about the family as well. It's not a celebration. It's not a time for barbecues. Well, maybe it is, but for us, it's very personal, and it is a day to remember our fallen, and our dad is still missing, and hopefully he'll be home one day.
Because your dad would be how old?
80, going to be 89.
Yeah, my dad, God bless you. And again, it is this delicate balance of, yes, you do want to have the family together,
right.
You do, but it's got to be that moment.
Right.
This is very tacky. I'm going to do a little dance here. Please correct me. Command Sergeant Major.
Command Sergeant Major, and I got to wave John, Mr. John Elliott, my friend. Here's how you'll never forget me. I'm giving you a copy of that book, and my rank is on there, Command Sergeant Major Saeed.
Why is resilience important?
Listen, resilience is so important to me right now because we are losing veterans every day, as you know, astronomical numbers. Suicide, right? Go ahead and put a name on it. And then we also have folks within the context of America that's stressed and they're overwhelmed, and so resilience, bounce back, and don't give up on life.
So thank you. Real quick, Richard, thank you. They're giving me the rap.
Thank you.
Big
so
TV executive here. He knows what the rap is. Thank you. Thanks to the Paramount Veterans Network for setting this up. And I want to say thanks for your service. God bless you. Hope you heal well and have a blessed Memorial Day.
John, thank you. Thank you. And we should remember, freedom is not free, and that's why we're here, making sure that we remember those who have given the last full measure of devotion and service to our nation.
All right. Cindy, we did it, and I have not been court-martialed. So we'll send things back to you in the studio.
John, thank you for sharing those amazing stories.